All right. Before we get started, I have an announcement. No matter what happens tonight, it's all Steven's fault. Everything about tonight that could go wrong, that might go wrong, that might get out of the lane that it's supposed to be in, it's all going to be Steven's fault tonight. That's all I'm going
I
to
take
say.
full responsibility.
Oh, with that, everybody, welcome to the Rideshare Garage. It is Wednesday night. We are back to start. We have three other members of the panel. Let me introduce to my left, military left, the Driven Dad. Everybody shout out Driven Dad, man. He's been on
What's
this.
up? Are you saying that Steven's gonna cause the stream to crash?
He might, bro. He might. He's headed for the border or someplace, bro. He might get us in trouble with. It's either going to be Border Patrol or National Guard or I don't
Right. I
know.
thought that was Eddie's job. Eddie's the one that crashes the stream.
Well, you see, Eddie's not here.
Yeah, as soon as he pops in, it'll crash, but it'll be
He'll crash
Steven's
out.
fault.
All right, so we got the Driven Dad in the house. We got Tony. Below him, we have Omar, my man Omar. He is like God. How can I say this in the nicest of ways? Omar is like he's not my yin to my yang because he's got no ass. He needs more ass to be the yin to my yang. Whatever I say, he's going to go opposite for the most part. So it should be an interesting show with Mr. Omar today. Mr. Omar, how you doing down there, buddy?
Surviving. I'm just gonna say justice for Musa. Okay, justice for Musa.
Oh boy, okay, we'll get into that in a minute. I see he was first, second, and third. All right, and he's yelling at me to start the damn show, but I'm telling you, it's Steven's fault, bro. Y'all go in Discord and yell at Steven, not at me. And then we got Steven, who I believe is on a trip right now, but he's going to be able to pop in and pop out. And so, Steven, how you doing, buddy? You on a trip or what?
I'm heading back home.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
I'm doing very well.
And Moose is already jumping on me with the Vinny's blaming Steven, exactly what old people do. All I'm gonna say is just keep living, buddy. Just keep living. That's all I can say to you. Just keep living. You might get here one day, buddy. All right. So below Steven, we got accountant Tom.
What's up?
He's gonna be the garage's accountant. We're gonna let him do his thing with all the accountant. Hopefully, he can bring some education and some highlights to us all. What's up, Thomas? How you doing tonight?
I'm all right, brother. I don't know if I sound funny because I'm actually on my MacBook that I'm actually gonna do my counting time videos on.
There you go. Are you using?
Yeah. No, the mic. UPS sent me an update. The mic won't be here till tomorrow.
Damn it, UPS. You know what? Blame Steven. He's going to get this. Everything that goes wrong is going on Steven. Okay? Everything. I don't care what it is. It's going
I
on
made
Steven.
some calls to get that delayed.
All right. I see Nick sneaking in all the way from South Beach, Kendall. I don't know if that's a thing, Omar. Can we call South Beach Kendall? He's the most local, you know. All right.
Right.
How you doing, buddy? Can you hear us? I guess he's not ready for it.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Everybody. Okay, here he is. Everybody's fashionably late today, huh?
Yeah, it's okay.
You guys are all.
You guys get better and better.
No.
And it's like I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, I'm doing the show by myself, and then bam, everybody shows up, which I'm thankful. I don't know if I don't know if I can carry a show by myself, man. I'm too direct and to the point. So anyway, and then I see Eddie down here. I don't know. I know where Eddie's just getting done with his OnlyFans. And his camera's probably overheated right now. So
I mean, it looked like he was sitting down, so I guess he was in some position, maybe like on a pole or something. Who knows? Hey, I'm not hating.
Hey, he at least Eddie didn't have to go get a W-2, right? He's got a backup plan.
They say support single moms, support single dads on OnlyFans, right?
Yeah, he's just Eddie.
There you go.
Eddie, are you not considered a single father? What the fuck? Look at him. Okay, I can't help him. I'm not doing it no more. I'm not.
I am, though. I will say I am. So.
You're a single dad?
Yes.
Are you working the pole?
No.
Okay, Eddie's working the pole. That's the whole thing. Eddie's working the pole.
Yeah.
Anyway, he'll get along when he can get along. Okay. So I want to get into tonight's topic because, and it's gonna be right up your alley there, Thomas. Lately there's been a lot of everybody knows what happened last week, right? With Department of Labor, they're coming for us. Everybody's heard that the Department of Labor they're going to attempt to classify us as hourly workers. People keep saying employees. I think you got to read deeper into that. They're going to try to classify us as employees and hourly workers. Number of reasons why they're going to want to do that. Number one, they're going to try to unionize us. Okay, especially now that Uber is an S&P 500 company. They're going to try to unionize us. They're going to try to tax us. When you're an independent contractor, you're a little bit different. Taxes move a little bit different than when you're an employee for somebody. There's unemployment, there's FICA, there's Medicaid, there's all that you're supposed to be paying in as an independent contractor. But they know if you're an hourly employee, you ain't getting out of that. It's going to be paid.
Yeah.
And so, like, what happens in our group is we're always trying to figure out, since we don't have a per minute per mile anymore, right? We're trying to figure out what's the right hourly expectation. Now, follow me for a second, guys. Follow me. There's two ways to look at this. You can look at it as once you turn your app on until you turn your app off, online hours, right? We agree that's what an online hour is. From the time you turn the app on to the time you turn it off. That's an online hour. And then you have the active hour, which is when you got asses in seats and you're actually transporting people. That's what the companies call active hour. That's how they reference how much money we make. Right. All that being said, I'd like to hear everybody. We're going to go around the room. I want everybody's opinion on this. First, when you look at your hourly earnings, do you look at it as an online hour or do you look at it as an active hour? How do you gauge your hourly, if you gauge it at all that way? Some people might not even give a shit. Some people might just look at, hey, look, I made $1,400 this week. I'm happy with that. I don't care how many hours it took. Okay, so let's start with who wants to go first. Let's go with Tony, Driven Dad. Are you
if I do an hourly report, it's based off of when I clock in on Gridwise and when I clock out on Gridwise. If I want to look at which apps are the most profitable when I'm on a trip, whether it's food or rideshare, I have to look at only active time. But it's unfair because Uber does not include your time to passenger as active time. Correct. Whereas like DoorDash does include your time to the restaurant and then to the drop off. So the whole from when you hit accept to when you drop off is all active time.
Okay. So then so you're saying for you, it's all about when you're active, when you have either somebody in the car or you're doing a delivery.
Well, that's the only way I can see which apps are more profitable to me. But when I'm reporting like how my hourly earnings were for the day, I'm going off of from when I clocked in on Gridwise to when I clocked out on Gridwise. Not my active hours on each app because it's just too hard to track that.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Okay. Who's next to him? Steven. Steven, can you hear us, Steven?
Yep, I can.
So how do you classify, and I'm going to get to all these questions in the chat in a little bit here. Just let us get with this show going. Do you qualify, or how do you qualify your hours? Is it online hours, or is it active hours only?
I kind of look at all that information, but when what I'm focused on most of the time is how much I'm making when I have a ride scheduled. So even I don't know if your question includes even the pickup time, because you said with people in your seats, but I include pickup time in my calculation.
Okay, no, that's why I'm asking. I think we need to establish how we look at it in order to come up with what we think is going to be the right number. So that's
Right.
why I'm asking, because everybody's all over the place. So I figure between the 9-10 of us that we're going to get on this panel tonight and everybody in the chat, we should be able to get a better understanding. So we have a better expectation. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So I look at it based off of when I get the ride, how long it takes to pick them up until they're out of my car.
Okay. Omar, how do you look at it?
Well, it's a mix right now because of the upfront. That's really messed us up. So I look at per mile. I look at when I started, how many miles I drove, how much gas I used. To the end of the night, did I make $100, $200, $500? How many hours from the moment I left my house? But then I'm home sometimes online. So does that count? Like you said, Vinny, it's a big mix. I think I like to use some of the other things that I mentioned, like mileage, to tune how efficient I've been. Meaning, I've had some nights where I do like 400 or 500, and I only drove maybe 200 miles, not even. And it's like, okay, that was a very efficient night. I was catching some bangers, and it feels like you didn't have to work that hard. So yeah, it's a mix for me. I think it's very important to look at time as well. I know you're big on that now, Vinny. So for me, the baseline for XL should be 60 per hour. I've talked about this before. So I'm very big on taking those particular types of rides. And so I will sit around a lot getting $30 an hour pings. Nope. $45 an hour pings. Nope. $58 an hour pings. Nope. So yeah, I sit around a lot until I find the thing that's worth me and moving my vehicle, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right, that's fair. So you're a little more mixed. You're bringing in the mileage and fuel economy and this, that, and the other all into the mix. And
Yeah.
that's fair. I mean, that's why we're asking. That's why
Yeah.
I kind of want to get a feel for everybody.
I mean, online hours. Online hours are you working, right? Yeah, but also online hours are for like some people leave their house and then they go work somewhere, right?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hold on. Go ahead, Omar. Finish up.
Wait a minute, it's my mic.
The way I look at it is, if you leave your house at like 5 a.m. and come home at 12 p.m., like in the afternoon, then that's 7 hours. But you could say, well, I was only online for 3 because I had to do this and I had to do that. Okay, but you left your house and you worked and you made this much money in that amount of time. So I get it. There's 2 ways to look at it. You could say, well, in the 3 hours I made this much money, or in the 7 hours I made this much money.
Okay.
For me, it's more. For me, I tend to fall on the bigger number. If I left my house at 10 p.m. and come home at 5 a.m., how much money did I make? That's kind of how I look at it, more that way.
Okay. And there's no wrong answers here, by the way. There's no. It's all subjective. That's why we're asking. Thomas, I know you do a lot of delivery stuff. I just unmuted you, so now you're back in the group. When you do your delivery, do you?
Hey, Vinny.
Yeah.
My bad.
Hold
Thomas,
on, my
can I leapfrog you
earbuds.
real quick?
Wait a minute.
Hey, again?
I was saying, can I leapfrog Thomas? Because
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So real quick, the way that I look at my hourly is I look at like what I made. So I count all the time that the app is on. So like let's say I look at my app right now, I'm at 118. And then I see I've been online for 4 hours. Obviously, you divide 118 by 4, and that's kind of how I get my hourly. So it's really simple, but that's kind of how I pay attention. And like if I see like, okay, it's, generally like 4 hours, I should be at $100. 8 hours, I should be somewhere around $200. So if I'm not hitting my goal numbers, my average numbers, then I know that either I'm being really bad with the rides that I'm picking or I'm being really efficient. So kind of what Omar was saying and like judging like, okay, am I being really efficient with my time or am I just out here playing games?
Okay. But you've already kind of, and I know you're going to do a ride, so when you come back, we'll already have this answer. You've already figured that you're a $25 an hour guy based on your total online time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's just the average, but yeah, basically.
Okay. No, that's what we need to get to. Eddie,
Yes.
You hear me, Eddie? Buddy, how do you look at it? Do you look at your per hour as being from the minute you turn the app on till you turn it off?
That is correct. That's the way I do it. I usually use about a 5 to 6 hour period. So the moment I turn the app on, I'm clocked in. Okay, and it's a straight 5 to 6 hour period, and whatever much money I make, that's why I came up with the It was a really simple rule. This why because with the test I was really busy, back and forth, and what I would do is $150 per 6 hour period. That means I was doing really good. So if I do my 150 in less than 6 hours, then I'm ahead of schedule. So that's how I usually do it. But the moment I turn it on, boom, 5 to 6 hours straight.
Okay. Thomas. Okay, we're going to bring Thomas back in now. Thomas, do you consider your online time from the minute you turn the app on to the minute you turn it off, or when your active hour when you actually got people or deliveries in the car? Nope, I think we lost Thomas. Going once, going twice, 3 times. Okay, you're out. I look at it active hour time. I look at it as active hour time for one simple reason. And that's because I have the ability to turn down a ride. So, and I also have the ability to turn on the app here at the house when I'm sitting in the house. If I'm sitting in my house, I don't consider myself working. And I know a lot of drivers, they'll have their apps on while they're sitting at home. So I don't know if it's hard for me to qualify that as an online hour when I'm determining what type of rides I'm going to take for how much. My per hour. Now, do I go back and look at my total online time hours? Of course. Of course I do that. But I look at it as the way the companies look at it, as an active hour situation when determining what rides I want to take. So that's going to bring us back around to the table now. Go ahead, Omar.
I was going to say, I guess like what Nick said, it's good to look at what you made and then your online time and then say, do some math from there. So, and I add other things on top of that. So like the thing I add on top of that, like I said before, was, well, what time did I leave the house today? You get what I'm saying? Even though I was probably on, maybe I wasn't even online at the house. Sometimes I go to an event, and then I go online. So I count that. Like the time that I sit in my truck, even if I don't have a ride or whatever it is, I count that as well. So like that time that you dedicated towards working. Sometimes, you leave your house to go get gas, right? And then let's say that took a half hour. Like I count that time as well, extra to whatever Uber or Lyft, has inside there. So I guess everybody has a different way of doing it, but like I think that you have to be honest with yourself. So I like what Eddie said, and I like what Nick said. Like as far as having like a scale, and that's kind of what I did on New Year's. I was like, man, it's 11 o'clock. I'm only at XYZ amount of money. That's why I almost stayed home. I went home and I almost stayed home because I was like, this is not going well at all. Like, how am I going to turn it around? And I did. But yeah, sometimes that's a good way of looking at it. It's like, man, look how long I've been out. Look how long I've been online.
Mm-hmm.
That's
There's
why.
a couple
That's
different
why.
ways to look at it, and you can tell that it's just not a good day, or you're not being efficient. Like
That's what determines if I go into another app or not, too.
yeah, like if you've done 2 rides in, like, let's say 4 or 5 hours, because that happens to us that drive bigger vehicles. We're sitting around a lot. Then but you go to the airport, you go here, you go there. It's like, yo, I've driven around like freaking 150 miles.
So before I don't want to get off track. So that's why I was asking, this is why I wanted to know, how does everybody determine their whatever their gross is for the day or the month or whatever it is, however they're doing it. Do you count online time or do you count active hour time? Because we know the apps come at active hour. So I think either way, to be honest with you, I wind up going 2 ways, right? I wind up digging out the active hour to determine what ride is worth me taking. And then I come back and I look at how many hours I put in for the week and did the money make sense? So, because at the same time, like I said, if I'm sitting at home, for me, I'm sitting at home and I got the app on, I have I am going to be less likely to take that on the fence ride than I am if I'm out there on the street, sitting on the street waiting for the ride. Does that make sense? You're more apt to take that on the fence ride out on that street than you are sitting at home where you're comfortable. Where Omar's on the edge of the bed, very comfortable. Okay, I'm just saying. Listen inside.
But then that would start a different debate, which I don't want to start, because I would make the argument that if you're on the fence about it at home, you should be on the fence about it in your car. That's how I look.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I even mentioned that. I said that $58 an hour ping comes in, $58 an hour, and I'm sitting here going, nah, F that. And I'll be sitting in my truck going, nah, F that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be consistent. Well, again, me, not anybody else.
That's because you're special. You're special. You're special. $58 an hour ping, and you're special. That's all I'm going to say is you're special. Okay. So then let's go back around the horn then. All of us here drive different ride types, and some of us drive similar ride types. So, but Eddie, because things have been a little slower in his market than normal, Eddie's driving all the ride types because he's got bills he's got to pay, right?
Yeah.
So
and still, in that glitch that I still have, that for some reason, the moment I turn my regular X rides on Uber, I start getting XL rides. It's just.
Well, then I leave the shit on. Anyway. Shit. So Tony,
Eddie's riding the pole.
Yeah.
App.
Yeah. All right. So Tony, and this will be the way I'd like to go around the room if you guys don't mind. State your ride types that you drive, and do you have a different per hour that you would, God, how can I say this the right way? I don't want to say expect, but the different per hour that you would like to earn. Yeah.
Can you come back to me so I can get out of this hotel?
Okay. Omar, we'll go with you because I know this is going to be a good one.
Okay. So state what ride types.
What ride types and what you're willing to accept per hour on those ride types.
Oh, okay. So, that's like a combination of what you'd like to get versus what you actually get.
Well, that's a matter of debate, but go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so all of the above, right, except Premier SUV. In our market, we have Premier. We don't have Uber Black. So Premier, obviously, and I run Premier and XL. I qualify for comfort, and now I got Uber on. What do I qualify for? Oh, pet deliveries, X, and shared. The VinnyKuzz specials. So for Premier, I like to get over 70 an hour, and XL, I like to get over 60 an hour. Do I get that all the time? Well, that's a different conversation. And then on Lyft, I qualify for all the things: Lux Black XL, Lux Black, extra poke in the butt comfort, and Lyft Basic, and XL. They group together XL, so it's very difficult for me to put XL on because you get bombarded with extra comfort. And these extra comforts come in at under $1 a mile, under $1 a minute. It's insulting. So yeah, I just do Lux Black, and Lux Black I look at it the same way. It should be 70 an hour. Lux Black XL, 85 an hour or above. Lux Black XL is the only one that I consistently earn 85 per hour or above.
Okay.
If that answers your question.
Your Premier is 60 an hour. Your Lux Black is 70 an hour, and your Black SUV is 85 an hour.
Yeah, XL 60, Premier, and Lux Black together at 70, and then Black XL above 85 and above.
Okay. Well, we already know Nick, and Nick's out on a ride, but we already know.
I'm back.
Oh, Tony. Okay, Tony. So ride types that you give, and do you have a set hourly when you look at the ride when it comes to that you'll determine if you'll take the ride or not?
In Uber, for Uber X and Uber Share, I guess. I only do Uber Share if it's a surge and it meets the less than 5 miles to pick up and drop off.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to get an extra passenger anyways. And it's surged. I just want to try to round up another surge. But we'll just say with no surges, if it's not $30 an hour on basic, I'm not taking it. So I don't run Lyft basic because none of them come in at that. Comfort is 40. Comfort extra on Lyft, I'll say if I can get a $30, I'll do it, but it's very rare to find. And for Lux Black, I just take them. I don't even look at them. But if they're going downtown, I'm not doing it. I'd say I have not accepted a Lux Black that's under 68 an hour.
Okay.
And for food delivery, if they're catering, I'm doing them.
Okay.
Those usually end up being between $40 and $80 an hour.
Okay. All right. So your basic ride, you're at 30 an hour plus surge. Your comfort ride, you're looking for 40 or better. Your Premier rides and Black rides, you're taking them unless they're going downtown.
Right. And yeah, it also depends on the time of day. Like if it's coming into lunch hour, I'm not going anywhere that's taking me out of my area because food delivery will just smash whatever I can do on Rideshare.
Okay.
Between all the catering.
Okay. This is so interesting to see where we're going to wind up at. You know,
and then if there's events and there's real surge, not just like $3 surge, if there's like 10 plus surge, like strong and consistent, those numbers obviously got to skew upwards into the $60 an hour range just to keep them short and profitable and swipe them as fast as you can.
Okay. All right. Eddie.
Yep. That's usually what I do. Now, all right. During traffic times, I don't take I don't stoop down, my level. I don't get down to like regular X and regular Lyft. I keep my tiers higher during traffic times, but when it's like really, really slow out there, I'll go ahead and I'll turn all my deliveries on, and I'll go ahead and I'll take X rides that are just the nearby. Anything that's long distance, I won't take, especially when it's about to be rush hour, because then if I take that ride, I'm gonna head back. But usually about $1 a mile is what I stick with. Sometimes I may take something that's under $1 per mile, but given the location or where the gentleman of where the person I'm picking up the person, I know that there ain't nobody going out there. So the likelihood of a really good tip is very high, because he's like, "Oh my God, I couldn't get an Uber driver." It's like, "Yeah, I know you were stuck." So I come up with an excuse. Says, "Yeah, I took your ride because I knew you were gonna be stuck. Nobody was gonna coming out here, and so I came out here," and usually ends up being a really good tip.
So then, for you, when you're determining rides, it's basically the time of day and the distance. You're not really concerned about an hourly.
No, no. I stick by the rule of $1 per mile. It works pretty good. $1 per mile. Anything under that, because sometimes I'll get comforts and they'll be like under $1 per mile. I was like, dude, like, what the hell is this? I literally curse at the apps. Like, no, screw you, you crazy.
Sure, we all do. Everybody does.
So when they throw me that stuff, I don't do it, because if you take it once, they're gonna keep giving it to you, like, back and forth.
You train the algorithm, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay, so you're not even time based. You're just basically per mile, time of day type of driver.
Yeah, correct. I can't do an hour. I can't do through the hourly, because, as you know, the market is just, they don't give me anything. So
okay, all right.
Yeah, Vinny, I just was thinking all those numbers that I mentioned are all pre-expense, like they're gross numbers, not net.
Right. Gross numbers. Absolutely, we're talking gross numbers. We're talking gross.
I also use Maximo. I know other people use like Para, and I use driver utility helper to calculate everything, so it's all calculated at the moment the ping comes through, so I don't have to do the math myself.
Whoa. Driver utility helper?
Whoa.
You don't know what that is, Eddie? Come on, man.
Whoa, hold on. Time out. We're going to get to that. Just hold the thoughts on that.
Okay.
Y'all jumping the gun, goddammit. Don't make me call Sergio and tell Sergio to get in here. I will. Goddammit. Now I got Sergio in here. See what you guys did? How you guys got Sergio?
Oh, boy. We're all deactivated.
Oh, Christ. God damn it. All right. So, Thomas,
Yes, sir.
How you do a lot of delivery. You're in a unique situation when you are working for the apps.
Right.
What kind of criteria do you use? Is it a per hourly? Is it a distance thing? How do you do it?
Well, what I usually do is I try to do something, model somewhere close to what Eddie does, the $1 per mile. But remember, I sent you a spreadsheet and I tracked on the pings that I was getting from Uber and Lyft.
Hold on. By the way, I haven't gotten that yet, but go ahead.
Oh, my bad. You lost it. No, but seriously, I usually
send it on X. He'll find it.
Yeah, because I went on average of what's the amount per mileage, all the rides that I had received coming from Lyft and coming from Uber, and I did like 30 pings on each, and usually I set my pair to get $1.05 a mile on Uber and 97 cents a mile on Lyft.
Okay.
And so I try to do it that way. And then, like, where we have these certain instances, like we had the playoff game on Monday night and stuff like that. But I wasn't going to drive no angry Eagles fans home. No, they disrespectful as hell.
Or hurt like a mofo, man.
Yeah.
Like Jets fans, you ain't got no chance with them.
Yeah. And then we got the Lightning games and stuff like that. And I usually try to stay on the outskirts of the surge and try to get a ride where the surge is high, and then I'm only picking up someone and I'm only going 2 miles, that kind of thing.
All right.
But I normally go on from the time I cut on the app and then from the time I turn it off. That's usually how I would measure my hours.
Okay. All right. All right. So you're time and distance like Eddie. But then you also look at your overall online time as being your total time that you look for.
Correct.
Okay. Steven.
Yeah.
My brother from another mother, Black Vinny. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing excellent.
Thank you. You had some time out. How do you go ahead? How are you determining your hourly, and what platforms are you driving, and what are your hourlies that you're looking for?
So the platforms I'm driving are X, some shared rides, Comfort Electric, and what do we have? I guess that's the highest I have now. Select is no longer available. So for those, what I try to reach, or the rides that I usually tend to take are $30 an hour rate or higher. I don't do per mile because my market traffic is insane. You can have a 5 mile trip, it could take you 45 minutes. So it doesn't make any sense. So I try to make, for each one, I want an hourly rate of $30 an hour rate or higher for an X ride. I try to do the same thing as Driven Dad when it comes to shared rides. Get them as close as possible. Something that's really short, because I mean, for the most part, I don't want to pick up another passenger. When it comes to comfort rides, I see them exactly the same as standard X rides. In fact, I view them as worse rides to take because there's more requirements on you to take comfort rides. And since the rates are coming in at practically the same as X rides, it makes almost no sense to take them. And so since I'm seeing the rates the same there, I tend to avoid those rides unless I can get them in the 40s, 50s, which is very rare. Comfort electric rides I've been seeing recently have been dropping down to almost like standard rates. But before, they used to come in $45 to $60 an hour rate. They were worth taking. It was exciting to get them. Now they're almost worthless, at least the last few that I've received. So, but normally I want those rides. I expect them to be somewhere between $45 and $60 an hour rate. And that pretty much covers all the ride types that I got available to me.
All right. So for you, it's strictly time. Mileage is not a factor.
No. I mean, one of the reasons why mileage is not that big of a factor for me is because I'm driving an EV and the cost for electricity is so cheap. But also it just doesn't make sense math wise, because most of the time I'm going to have a ride that's under $1 a mile rate. It's just, that's how it usually the math comes out. Just because I'm trying to make sure that I'm profitable on my time. My time is more important to me than how many miles I'm driving. I wish I could get both, but I mean, this is the reality of the situation.
Okay, fair. I love it, bro. We've got 9 people on this board, and so far 6 are, well, 3 are the same, 2 are different. You got 3, 2, and then you got you so far. Scott, are you with us, Scott, or are you just kind of riding the pine over here?
No, I'm with you.
Scott, so we all know, if you guys don't know, Scott has a private business. He's got his placards and everything out there in LA, but he does do occasional Uber Black rides. So Scott, when you're doing on the app, do you even entertain the idea of a per hourly for your ride selection, or you just
No. Yeah, no, I don't. I just look at what rides come in, and if it's an Uber Black ride, it has to be more than $20 for me to accept it. If it's Black SUV, I'll accept everything off of Black SUV unless it's $18 or lower. I won't accept that. But
okay.
I usually don't look at the hours I spend like on the apps or anything. I just look at pretty much how many clients I can get off of the app.
Okay.
So, and that's pretty much it. And I try to make a goal every week around 800 to 900 on the app. If I can do that, then at least I'll make 40,000 on the app every week, and then that's an added bonus to everything else I do.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah, because out of everybody here, you're in the most unique position because you do have a legal private client base where everybody else is kind of friends and family and Fight Club type related. Steven, one question you didn't, I don't think you answered. If you did, forgive me, I don't remember. Do you look at are you basing your hourly off of active, or do you count your online time as the minute you turn the app on to the minute you turn it off as your hourly?
And see, this is an interesting question because I think we've discussed this before. If I really wanted to put my head down and just focus on just doing as many rides as I possibly could, then I would be focused on the entire time that I'm online. But I focus on when I'm active, when I actually have somebody getting in the scheduled for a ride and I'm going to pick them up, I calculate it from pickup time to drop off time.
Okay. All right. So you're more like me instead of okay. Sergio, how are you, brother? We see you're alive and kicking. Nice article. Nice quotes.
Hey, everybody.
Yo.
What's up?
How you doing? Okay, so the topic of the night is, and you're just joining us now. So the first question I'll ask you is, how do you determine your hourly? Since Department of Labor and yada yada yada, and the apps are always honest about active time and this shit, that shit, and the other shit. Do you consider? How do you judge your per hourly? Is it? Do you judge it by active time, or do you judge it by the time you turn on the app to the time you turn off the app?
I actually judge it by when I leave the garage and when I get back into the garage.
Okay. Okay. So it's
Thank
total
you.
time, regardless whether you're doing a trip or not.
Yeah, because I have a chance to grab a trip a mile from the house. I can get paid to where I'm going, and on the way back, the same thing. If I have my destination filter on, I mean, I mean that's the most honest way to look at it. As far as I'm concerned, then the second most honest way is going to be online time, and the third honest way is going to be active time. So that's the way I look at it. But after this weekend or last weekend, this weekend was it this weekend? Yeah, this weekend. I have. I'm just not going to look at anything. I'm just going to go accept every trip and you know, um,
Steve,
make my money. Look, make my money and go home. That's it. What is there? What else is there to look? It's just,
You know, even if, but you might find yourself in Tijuana. I mean, it happens, right?
yeah, it could happen. This maybe this weekend that's going to happen on Lyft when I take 20 in a row. I don't know. And then I actually enjoyed that. It was really relaxing. I was like, I fuck, except no math, no mental masturbation, except, and I was like, the numbers were dead on. I made 32 bucks per active hour. What the CEOs are saying. I mean, what else is there? I mean, these people know their shit. And all this mental masturbation to me for a simple business, picking up, dropping off is too much. Except, except, I mean, I don't do that in the food delivery, but with rideshare, hey man, except, all good.
All right. So
I get the people who have 100% acceptance rate now. They don't put any fucking bullshit into any of that. Look, man, I was online 11 hours. If I look at it that way, it's $21.50. If I look at it active, it's $32. If I look at except I grossed $235 at the end, and I'm happy with that. If I can make 235 every day, gross 235 every day, and accept everything, and then work 6 days a week, there's my 1200, 1250, 1500 maybe.
okay, so hold on now, hold on, because then I got to bring in a second question. But with what you just said there, kind of goes back to like with Eddie, right? So Eddie is an overall total week. How much did I gross this week? I'm not worried about the hours. Ronnie Spee, right? Ronnie Spee is the same type of individual. His channel.
I don't know that.
Yeah, you know him you'll know him if you see him. He does the 2 hour challenge, and for him, it's about I'm putting 12 hours a day, and I'm trying to gross $2,000 a week. It's so odd how many different ways. Nobody's right or wrong, in my opinion. Nobody's right or wrong. It's just amazing how many different ways you can break this down.
Yeah.
As far as
at the end of the year, when you're doing your taxes, that number will look at you, and then maybe you will adjust at the end of the year, or you'll continue the way you're doing it after. You look at your miles. You have 60,000 extra miles on your car. I mean, then maybe if you survive the first year of doing rideshare, then you'll start going, okay, wait a minute, this didn't work out.
Yeah, but for the sake of the conversation tonight, that you're about to take us down the rabbit hole. God damn it, Sergio!
No rabbit hole, no rabbit hole. So anyway, no, I mean, I was kind of being facetious actually when I said obviously take everything, but I do clearly understand now when I interview people, they go, I have 100% AR, 0 CR. We go, okay. And they get pounded when I put them on the channel. Oh, you fucking blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why? It was fine. I mean, I was like, No problem. At the end, it becomes really relaxing that I don't really want to think about this. I just want to make my couple hundred, go home. And you
Okay.
will make couple hundred. You will make couple hundred. I mean, depending
So
on your
then,
market, obviously.
Sergio, let me ask you this question. Prior to your epiphany of taking 20 straight rides over 2 days this past weekend,
Yeah.
okay, and making your $32 an hour.
I mean, the only
How did-
reason, by the way, there's a caveat to that. The only reason I did not finish in one day, I could have finished because I started at 11. It was 8 p.m. 17th trip took me literally 8 miles from my house. And I'm going like, okay, I need to quit while I'm ahead because who knows? That's the only thing. I could have easily finished, the 20 in one day. Although it was surprising how slow it was for the 20. Usually I can pump out 30 in 10 hours. But no, it's very slow. So
all
what
right.
were you saying?
So when you before you did your 20 straight rides,
Yeah.
what was your per hour that you were trying to gain or trying to use as a benchmark to decide which rides you were going to take and you weren't going to take?
Before the 20, okay, if you asked me 3 years ago, why will you not turn your app on for? It would be $30 per online hour. Now that's absolutely not possible. Even if I were to go out and cherry pick, at base rates, that is not a possibility with no incentives, obviously. So now I probably, if I were to go out, do my best and play my position game correctly, because there is no surge. If there's no surge, there's nothing you can do. I don't think on base rates, if I played the position game only correctly, because that's all I have. I'm doing deliveries, by the way. No, I'm not taking that. 25 per.
Okay.
I
So
can't.
for
That's
me,
what the market is at.
I try to get 30 to 40 hours on comfort rides. Just so everybody knows, when I'm in the Tesla, I'm running Uber Comfort. That's my bread and butter. I'm running Uber Premier and Lyft Black. That's all I got.
Yeah.
I'm not doing Lyft Comfort rides because Lyft rides pay better than Lyft Comfort rides. So there's no way I'm going to get bombarded with that bullshit.
Really?
No, bro. You know what? You know how you can do this. Everybody can do this. Okay. Go into the Lyft schedule app. Look at the Lyft scheduled rides, and then look at the Lyft Extra Comfort scheduled rides, and you're going to see that Lyft rides pay better than freaking Lyft Comfort rides. It's sickening. It's just sickening. That's number one. Number two, Sergio, real quick, just a side note. I sent you a text a little while ago.
I saw that. I did not know that. I did not know that.
I didn't know it either until I looked at it today.
Yeah.
Steven, check. You don't get Premier rides, do you?
No, we have
Okay.
Black here. Yeah.
Well,
Uber
what's his name is in Davos asking for government help for all the drivers to convert
Oh
to
yeah, I saw
EVs
the
now. But now they need government help because they figured our whole fleet is not going to convert to EVs by 2030. So now we need government help. I'm like, no, go fuck yourself. Why you need is fucking divine intervention. Okay, I'll give you guys a preview.
Wayback Machine.
Wait. I'm out. We'll get to that. I want to get this conversation done. God damn it, Sergio.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry,
$30 to $40 on comfort, and I try to get between $50 and $60 on Premier and Black.
Yeah.
That's how I gauge it. I also gauge it pickup time and drop off time combined.
The one thing I think you guys were asking about what's active and all that stuff.
No.
I don't know. Hold on.
Everybody's different.
I don't know that. That's what I'm trying to find out. In California, P2 and P3 is active time, irregardless, rideshare, food delivery, whatever it is. Okay. So Tony was saying that in Colorado, only P3 is active. And that may be the case in some different states. I don't know. So I'm educating myself here. But in California, P2, P3 is active. P2 meaning The time that's from the time you accept the request to the time you end the trip is active time.
Okay.
Hey,
I didn't know that either.
Moosa's bringing it
You know?
tonight, isn't he? Musa.
I'm
All
not
right.
watching the chat. Somebody. Okay, so what I was surprised though with that, what do you call it? With that experiment, I did 20 trips. 14 or 15 were comfort. 2 were X shared, and 2 or 3 were X. So they kept just sending me comfort. Not that it was paying too much more, but for some reason, it was all comfort, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm taking it anyway. Yeah, that was surprising to me. Maybe they are playing the game of
Training people to use comfort.
moving the Xers to comfort, because on
Yep.
comfort on the back end they definitely are charging more to the packs, make it look like this is a premium service for a couple of extra bucks, but then if you're doing 2.5 billion trips, a couple of extra bucks is a lot. And then they don't share that couple of extra bucks with you, because I was getting some comforts that I'm like, this is not correct.
And you have to
I
do
was like,
extra in order to accommodate them during those rides.
yeah, and well, I mean, nothing extra, but I mean, I was like very surprised that 75%.
I'm not going to change my temperature in the X ride. They can open the window. I'll let them open the window.
Yeah. No, it was fine. I had fun actually. I mean, I was like, whatever. Yeah, I was very surprised that there are so many comfort things. So
yeah, it's disgusting how many comfort pings there are. But what's worse is how bad they pay.
Well, see, I can't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's how they're padding up these numbers, because they're definitely selling to the packs comfort being something special, more special than X, which is not.
That's why I don't even take them.
And they're just not pay. I mean, again, you guys have to figure this, like, 2.5 billion trips times 20 cents each one that you move up to comfort, you're making extra 20 cents, and it adds up.
But Sergio and Steven, this is why I wanted to have this conversation tonight, because I think at some point, and this is going to be very unpopular, I might get my head taken off here. I might even somebody might put me in timeout when I say this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the God's honest truth. Some drivers don't know how to determine a reasonable expectation of a ride. In other words, they don't know how to determine how much they should be getting paid per hour, because the hour is the only thing we can go by. We can't go by anything else. Time is your most valuable asset. You can't get it back.
Well, okay. I wouldn't have taken any of those trips if I was looking hourly. I wouldn't have taken any, because none of them, if you look at it individually, were adding to 32 per active. But at the end, it ended up exactly at 32 per active. And I was like, what the fuck? I was surprised on that one. Now, I know it will not be, the same result will not be if I drove during the week. For sure it will not be. That I know. But, that's an experiment to come, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, I was really, really surprised that the numbers added up the way they added up. Although 32 per active at 68% utilization, well, I'm at 21.5 before expenses. So that's that. And I thought, taking everything, my utilization would be higher. It wasn't, because there are so many cars out there.
Do you know how many miles you drove?
180 miles for $235, including tips and incentives. I had 180 miles, all miles. Like, I'm talking repositioning miles, because a couple of the drop-offs were like in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's no pings there, so you drive a couple of miles to busier areas. Includes pickup, includes drop-off, all of it. 180 miles. So I average about $140 a mile, which is not bad.
How much did you make, Sergio?
235 gross. My car runs on $5 to $7 per hour. So I mean, it's on the video, but anyway, here it's 5 to 7 per hour, depending on the variable cost of gas. I bought gas at $4.25, which is the lowest I've bought gas in the last 6 months. I average 27.8 miles per gallon. I consume 6.5 gallons of gas. which is about $25, and the rest of the, my expenses total, depreciation, maintenance, insurance, everything was about $60 my cost. So if you take $60 cost for those 20 rides, that's where the numbers fell. And I was right at minimum wage after taking out expenses off of the online time, which was 11 hours, which came to 21 and a half. If you took 5 out, 16 and a half. LA County minimum wage is $16.70. That's where the numbers fell. And it was interesting. It really was.
Yeah,
So
Sergio,
235 by 180 is $1.30 a mile. Just FYI.
you should
Huh?
tell Dara that those expenses you took out, those are part of Uber's take since they're trying to put it on
We're
us.
actually, that's very interesting, Tony, because then on Monday, of course, Uber sends me the weekly statement, right? All right. So
Right.
for 20 trips, according to Uber, after they take their expenses out, you know how much money they made on me? What percent take rate?
Well, they said like 2%.
2%.
Yeah.
2%. They made $9.88 on me on that 20 trips. However, as far as their biggest gripe, we're paying commercial insurance, blah, blah, blah. You know what the commercial insurance was on those 20 trips? By the way, total pay for the customer on 20 trips was $387.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
What? What a
Um,
difference, huh?
yeah, 387.
Yeah, we need the Uno reverse card them.
And then the other thing is the commercial insurance line item on my weekly statement, $122 for those 20 trips. So Uber is taking that 122 as the booking fee and saying I only made $9, which is 2% on your search. And I go, fuck you, Uber. If you're paying on 20 trips $122 for 180 miles that I total drove, and if you look at my active miles, by the way, they were 100 and less than 150 miles. So as Uber, you're paying almost 80 cents a mile in commercial insurance. There is something wrong with that picture. And the last thing that's wrong with all of this is this. Uber is now insuring their commercial insurance. They have pulled it in-house, close to 70% of it. Okay? Lyft gone the other way. Lyft is definitely gone all third party, which they signed the contract until next October and they set their cost up. But Uber is going in-house. They're taking the risk on, as opposed to going to Geico or whatever other companies that they go out to. Out of that $122 that they said is the commercial insurance part, how many trips were done on in-house commercial insurance? And obviously, I did not get in a crash, and they kept all that. So if you look at all this, either Uber's take rate was 2% or it was 37%. Because of that 122. Okay. So is that enough numbers for you guys?
Just enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where it fell. And interesting.
Yeah, all the while insurance of our own.
Yeah.
So-
all the while,
Well, at
exactly,
least
Tony. All the
me
while,
and
our costs are very flat over the last 4 years. Yeah, they're just super flat.
right. Well,
So
and like
how they
Scott and I,
keep
we
their
do have.
profits up is that the mini.
Well, Scott and I already
Go
have
ahead.
commercial insurance, and they're double dipping on us.
Yeah, definitely. So those are interesting observations. Obviously, I'm gonna do 20 on Lyft. Same day, same hours. Only 20 in a row on Lyft. Let's see where those end up. But 32 was, fascinating. I mean, these fucking people know their numbers, bro. I mean, they're not gonna fuck around with these people. 32 active
So,
on the nose. In fact,
so
I
it just
sent it
it
to
just looks like
my
they're charging
contact
these.
at Uber, and then she goes, "Huh? I told you." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." I'm not apologizing. I go, just one day, one bubble, one fucking 20 trip stretch, but there are people who are definitely grossing a lot more than 32 per active, and there are people who are grossing a lot less than 32 per active. But on average, that's where it's at.
You know, so to take us full circle back, Vinny, right? I think actually I never really looked at it this way, but I think Sergio's right when he says the most honest way is from when you leave your house to when you come home. Because I was just right now thinking about what happens when you deadhead somewhere. You get a ride and then you go, "Oh, I don't want to stay here," or whatever reason, whatever persuades you. Maybe you're in a really bad neighborhood to leave. So maybe you're online, maybe you're not online. You get what I'm saying? Like, but you're not working. You're just deadheading somewhere. How does that come into the equation as far as per hour?
I don't think, honestly, like looking at this hour and figuring all this stuff out is mental
Yeah.
masturbation. I don't think any of this is necessary. This is a simple business. I do understand, obviously, that everybody wants to figure out their cost, this and that, which is the right thing to do as a business. Okay. But I do also now have total respect for people who go out there, okay, take all of it. None of this, oh, you're a fucking ant, blah, 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 whatever. And they take it. Look, they're happy grossing 250 a day, going home. That was their target, whatever their target was. I get it. I mean, it's
But
simple.
Sergio, here, and this is the whole point of today's show.
Yeah.
What are drivers looking for? Because here on the panel, we've got 9-10 people up here
Yeah.
with five different ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
We, who I would consider everybody on the panel, educated, experienced,
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
Okay.
If we have 4 or 5 different ways of looking at it, imagine how 4 million drivers have ways of looking at it. And then wait, let me finish, please. And then how do we determine, how do we as a collective, whether it's this people, everybody in the chat, everybody, all your hundreds of thousands of viewers, how do you determine what the right number is so that a driver has an honest expectation?
Yeah. All I can say about that is the risk commensurate to pay is not there at the moment, because driving is a very risky business, from passengers to accidents to whatever not. It's very risky business. And I don't think anybody should do this if they're at minimum wage, which where my numbers fell. I don't think anybody should drive.
Okay.
After you take your expenses out, if you're just like I was at $16.5, $17 hours, without any risk, I can go flip burgers, stand at Target, do whatever I need to do. I don't think anybody should drive. There you go. And I run a rideshare channel, and I'm telling you this.
Yeah,
you guys, everybody has to face that reality.
That's a whole different show, whole different segment. We can get into the guy who just got put off of it for returning fire when he had a gun pointed in his face, and now he's deactivated. Right? We could all talk about this kind of stuff, right?
Okay, let me mute myself for a second. Okay, hold on.
Okay. My point is, we have to. How do you determine what's your right number? Because drivers got to have somewhere in the back of their mind, am I driving for 30 an hour? Am I driving for 50 an hour? Am I driving for 60 an hour? And then once I have those numbers, this is what I'm going to stick to. Now what happens that you don't hit those numbers? Now you're not making any money because your number's too damn high. Forget the risk assessment. Forget all that shit. I'm talking about reality. Reality says if you want to make money, you got to be able to look at that request when it comes through and determine if that's a ride you're going to take or not. And all I'm suggesting from the group for everybody is how do you determine that number? That's all I'm asking. I'm not dictating. I'm not trying to say this is you're wrong, I'm wrong. I'm just curious what everybody's number is to try to give people that watch our program an idea, something to think about. I'll give it over to the floor.
Well, what I'm going to say is this is probably going to tick some people off, right? Because we take what we do seriously, and we like doing it, and we want to keep doing it. There's something wrong with all of us, and this is a choice. In the same way that we tell people, the passenger, that this is a luxury service and that we're not freaking public transportation, it's a choice for us to go get a W-2, like what Sergio just said, at Target or wherever, flipping burgers at Burger King. But I feel like you got to have a plan, and you got to have a number, and you got to have a way to get there. And I don't believe, and again, you could hate me all you want. I don't believe in lowering your standard to get to that number, because at a certain point in time, there's a point of no return where you're working more than a W-2. You're killing your car, and if you find yourself in debt for whatever reason, you're gonna be more in debt. Or if you owe a lot of money on your car, like, all your costs are gonna get out of control. So there's a line. Where that line is, obviously, this is where the conversation begins, and what we're talking about. But I don't believe that there has to be a point where you say, I can't go below this. If I do, then you're working for free.
That's where the pivot comes in.
Yeah, the stripper pole, right, Eddie?
That's right. That's right. That's right. You guys keep doing the OnlyFans thing, and I keep making money off of you.
So this is why I wanted today's show to try to come across some. And you know what? I think SB has got it right. I actually think SB has got it right. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm asking it the wrong way, the wrong question. Maybe it's not what's our what our hourly should be when we look at a ride to determine depending on ride type. Maybe it should be what's too low. In other words, at what point is your hourly too low to keep yourself profitable on the different platforms? Maybe that's a better way to ask the question. JJ, I need you to kind of slow down a little bit, buddy. Go ahead. Anybody?
And you know what? I don't know. You know, I've been working on my pivot ever since we started. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Tesla, I was doing good. Met Vinny, and I was like, hey, you know, these good times, man, they're gonna come to an end sooner or later. But the pivot is not fast enough to compensate for the increase in like prices of everything. So I'm trying to basically move my way out of ride sharing slowly into other things, even if it's going back to a 9 to 5. But it looks like sooner or later, I mean, ride share, it has to come to an end for me. It has to. Either if I don't find something, it's gonna eat me alive.
And I wonder how many drivers out there know that. Like, do they know what their breaking point is? That's why I'm trying to figure out what the hourly is. Because you know what? Before you get all the way off the bridge, before you've already taken one step too many off the plank, and now you're swimming with the fishes, if you know you can't hit your hourly, what you need to make your money, whether it's an hourly, whether it's, okay, I got to make $1,000 a week gross in order to survive. You got to know that before you get there, or else you're going to be in trouble. Right now, I can honestly say right now, I'm making what I need to make. I'm working a little differently than I'm used to, but I'm making what I need to make based on what I feel is the hourly that's right for me. And I'm not wasting a whole lot of time out there. So that's why I wanted to have this show tonight, because I don't think enough. With all the videos out there and all the people out there talking about this, that, and the other, when it comes to pricing and all of that. Listen, if a driver doesn't know what they need, how are they going to determine what their hourly needs to be or their weekly needs to be? It's easy to sit there and say, don't take a ride, don't take a ride, don't take a ride. But then your ass ain't driving at all. Then what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
I have two
Can you guys
things.
hear me?
Well, hold on, because I'm not done yet. Because if you go and get a W-2, you're not going to get a paycheck for at least 2 to 4 weeks. Because, right, if I remember correctly, W-2 holds back, right? Isn't that how that works?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So there's all kinds of scary shit out there. So go ahead, guys. I'll turn it back over to you guys.
So I would say two things. Number one, sometimes you have to like, okay, we were getting on Steven for going to Vegas, right? Like that could be a bad thing because you end up so far out of your market and it changes a whole bunch of things, which
Into
brings
a market where you can't drive at all.
exactly. It brings you to a market where you can't even drive at all. That's number one. And number two, my second point is when I say what's the bottom line, there's also the human element to it as well. When you say to yourself, like what you were saying, Vinny, and I'm not debating you, Vinny. I know what you're saying, and you're right. It gets to a point where it's like, yeah, I got to make this $1,000, this $500, whatever it is, right? You get to that point, man. I've been driving today for 8 hours. All right, I didn't make any money. Tomorrow I'll drive for 10 hours. I'll make more money tomorrow. And then you drive for 10 hours. Fuck, man. All right, I'm going to drive 12 hours, the full 12 the next day. And you're not even sleeping. You're not eating right. Now we're talking about like a health thing. That's the thing that I'm worried about with some drivers that are just working, that you hear about them. You know? So that's just one thing to also keep in mind is, yeah, what's your bottom line to where not only that you can accept, but that you'll freaking survive. Can anybody, like, I don't know how many of us here are working 7 days a week. I mean, or whatever it is that you're working. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that all comes
60,
down to
like, I know all of us are putting in 60, 70. We're all putting in like a lot of hours. Like, I guess
Omar, listen, this is the price you pay for being an independent contractor.
Yeah.
This
For
is
sure.
the price you pay
for sure
for working for these gig apps.
I think that we all of us, everybody that's watching this show right now, you also have to consider yourself. How many times have you driven when you're a little tired? Like, that's dangerous. Are we getting to that point? Are we getting like what Eddie said? He's getting eaten alive. I feel the same way. I feel the same. Eddie said it. Eddie took the words out of my mouth, man.
And I do take those 30-minute naps. You have to, because I'm out on the road usually when I hit those 5-6 hours straight. But that's like when I turn the apps on. Usually I get up about 2 hours before, and then I do a straight 6 hours. So I'm up the whole entire time, and then I come home, I do all this stuff. So, and then when I hit the road again, like it hits me a little bit. And then if I'm tired, I gotta stop. I gotta pull over, take 30 minutes, then get back to work.
So see, that brings me back, and what was what Omar was just saying, and even to a point what Eddie was just saying, brings me back to what Sergio said. Sergio said last weekend he didn't care. It didn't matter. I was taking 20 straight rides regardless. I was going to let the algo take me wherever it was. Sergio asked me to do something when I had the rental through Uber, right? Before Hertz pulled the fucking move with the payment bullshit. Vinny, take every ride they give you. Don't turn nothing down. Remember that? Nomar was cussing me out. I think I was up to like 10 or 11 rides in a row. I didn't turn anything down, right? And so, and then the snafu happened with Hertz. Sometimes you just got, for people that are accepting 100%, 99%. Sergio, you talk to them. Are they bitching and moaning? Oh, we just lost Sergio. Just when I was going to find out if the 100%ers are bitching and moaning.
Yeah, but if they take 100% and end up in another country, they're not taking 100% anymore.
Well, that's your opinion. At some point, we all dead at home, bro. Go ahead, Tony.
Hey, Vinny. So I'm thinking about this, like we're talking about how much hours we all work and all that.
Right.
If I look at my expenses that I need to make to run my household, not including any of the debt that I'm trying to wipe out, right? Just the bare basics, the house, the utilities, the groceries and everything. I just need to make $1,000 a week. And that's with a family of 6.
Oh, wow.
So, once I hit 1,000, everything else is going to like, I don't have to work 70 hours to make $1,000. I know some people may have to, but in Denver, I don't have to. But I choose to work more, and I choose the gig economy because of the ability to work more. and not get screwed over by being on a salary and you're working for your bonus and then it never comes. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. And you know, and somebody Mr. DSN is making a solid point here too. Just like you just said, Tony, in a way. You determine when you decide to do these gig apps, you're signing up to be your own business. And when you're signing up to be your own business, you got to be profitable in that own business. But let me tell you something. You can't treat rideshare. I've said this 1,000 times over. You can't treat rideshare like a freaking 9-to-5 job because it's not that. You have to treat it like a business, and not all business is good business. Sometimes you might not just be good at this, and you got to get.
Although, once upon a time, it was nice when it was a 9-to-5 thing. Once upon a time.
Omar, yeah, but Omar, I almost yelled at you, and then you put the laugh on me, so I'm gonna pull my yelling back. It doesn't matter what happened 4 or 5 years ago. We ain't there no more. We're where we are, and that's something that I think a lot of us need to come to grips with. We are where we are, and nobody's going to put their foot on Uber's neck. I am okay. I said I was not going to mention this, but I'm going to mention it. Everybody knows what's happening February 14th. Have you guys heard what's happening February 14th?
No, the big protest.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently there's a large group of people. JJ, maybe this falls under you. JJ, in the chat. I've never met this guy. I'm not sure who he is, but I'm gonna. As long as he keeps it respectful, he can hang out with us. There's a big strike or protest supposed to take place. I'm not advocating for it or against it. I am completely neutral. I want to see how big this thing turns out. I'm going to be watching everybody's fucking channel. I might sit here all day watching everybody's channel. I want to see how big this thing is going to be. And if I don't see $30 surge on my app, all of you guys who took the day off fucked yourselves. Because all of the guys who didn't take off took those goddamn rides. And that's my point about this being what you signed up for this. This is what you asked for. You have no politics. I was on a podcast with Rideshare Rodeo the other day.
Yep.
And I told him the same thing in his audience. Politicians don't give a shit about you. You got to get your money in these apps and then pivot into something else. That's it. Put your nose to the grind, get your fucking money, and get out. That's it.
So, Vinny, by the way, I have no idea what you're talking about for February 14th, and I think that's a failure right now. Whoever these people are that are planning this thing, if you have drivers that haven't even heard of it, you're failing. That's number one. Number two, February 14th is a Wednesday. Of all the days to pick.
No, it's a good point.
Well, they always try to pick a holiday. If you've ever noticed all of these strikes or protests or whatever, they're always on a holiday. Like, listen, bro, ain't nobody striking on Valentine's Day anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody's broke to take their wives out or they're divorced. It's one or the other. You know, where they're going to take their side piece? Uber drivers are meeting their side piece at the airport queues. That's why the queues are always so full. It's a romantic.
All I'll say is that if we ever actually on like a united front actually got together like across the country, I'd be all for it. But I mean, whatever.
There is this one Facebook group that I used to follow back in the day, or over in Austin, and there used to be a lot of drivers in there from Austin, and every time they started complaining and they're saying, "Forget this, I'm not working," I used to stay out, because the moment they stopped working, like a whole bunch of them stopped working all at the same time, because they're all giving themselves, they're all running the same Facebook group. So I used to stay out, and then once a little bit of time went by, then all of a sudden, boom, just started surging. I started picking up on these guys' downfall.
Yeah, y'all better realize y'all got 7 million new drivers that just came into the country.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Whether
how many people
legal
are
or
going to be
illegal,
starting they're going to just be starting their first day on is there feedback? Their first day on Valentine's Day.
So the only hope, really, truly, yeah, somebody's got an echo. I don't know who's got the echo. Hold on.
Uh-oh, is that me?
Yep, that was Nick. Got it. No, Sergio. It was Sergio.
Oh.
That's all right, buddy. We got you. Nah, you're fine.
Sergio's over there driving food.
Yeah, right. He's making that.
I
He's
just
making that
finished. I
shut up.
just finished. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Go.
Denny's.
Oh, okay. Because I just finished the delivery, so.
McDonald's.
No.
I hope they
I
tip you
was
good.
Thai restaurant, 2 miles for $8.
I
Ooh, they
just did
got
8
you.
miles for $31.
Now what?
I said I just did 8 miles for $31.
Yeah, I don't get those where I'm at. I mean, I get them here and there, but it's very slow. Everything is slow. I mean, it's like Wednesdays. I usually go out, do some deliveries, check the pulse of what's happening, and yeah, there are no pings out there, man. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, it was
Very
surprising.
few
I
things.
honestly, like 20 in a row. I thought I would finish literally in like 7 hours because there's pings in LA. I mean, they're not short of pings, but it goes to show how oversaturated the market is. That there was just no pings. I mean, there was like it was an hour and a half period. I mean, obviously that trip I wouldn't have taken. It sent me back to where I wouldn't have taken if I was not taking 20 in a row. I ended up taking a trip radar trip to get out of the fucking hole, and I was like, shit, man, it's really slow out here on a Saturday, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Saturday, beautiful night, no rain. There was no surge in LA. That's unheard of. I mean, that's absolutely unheard of in 8 years of me doing this. So, and then it kind of hit me. I go, surge. Okay, you go cherry pick. Okay, there's no cherries to pick. What the fuck are you gonna pick?
Mhm.
I mean, what is there? You can't cherry pick on base fares. Yes, you can. There is once in a while they throw you a little screwball and there's
Yep.
surge on a pip, whatever. But there's no cherries to pick. What are you gonna pick? There's nothing to the moment. Just take, accept, make your 250 a day if you want to make that. If it takes you 11, takes 11. If it takes next day 10, 10. If it takes next day 8, Algo is kind to you. That's what you got to do. That's where it's at the moment. And that's a majority of drivers, not the high-end car people like yourselves. Like I'm an shared and comfort driver, period. And for
Hey, I
me,
do Uber Pet.
Uber Pet, okay. Yeah, Uber Pet, and that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Uber Pet is never going to happen in my world.
in
But
Denver,
yeah,
at
I mean,
least
it was
comfort is worth it because like airport trip from where I work on X is $18. On comfort it's at almost $40.
yeah.
So if I'm taking everything and I hit an airport trip on comfort, where the X driver is only going to be making half of what I just made,
Well, that's pricing is different. That's the other thing I'm also figuring out. Like, Algo's pricing everything differently in every city, pretty much. But yeah, at the moment, look, man, it's one thing I disagree with what Vinny said, which is politicians don't care. Well, Vinny, you should tune in next week because I have Minnesota Uber Lyft Drivers Association President Eid Ali and Senator Fatah from Minnesota on the show. They're about to pass the ordinance that's going to bump their rates close to 75%. They copied the Seattle model and they're winning. And although the mayor vetoed it, although the governor vetoed it, although Uber and Lyft fucking did nothing but push the can down the road with the committees and all this shit, they kept at it. They kept at it. In a city council, they had elections, city council elections. Now they have 9 friendly city council people in the Minneapolis City Council. Even if the mayor vetoes it, they have override rights now. And they are going to pass it unless the Uber and Lyft leaves. The vote is on the 31st, and they're going to come talk to us about how they did it. And it is doable. what we need to do. We need to make these fucking look, man. City council votes, sway on 2,000-3,000 votes. That you don't need millions of votes. It's just 500 votes will make a difference. And if in a city council constituency there is like a lot of rideshare drivers, and you tell the city councilor, you better be fucking friendly to my cause. I'm not going to fucking vote you out of fucking office. You better fucking believe they're going to listen to you. And they're about to get it. They're about to get their fucking rates. $1.40 a mile and 35 cents a minute. Yeah, a little bit less than Seattle, but they copied exactly the Seattle playbook. So it is possible, but it's just, I mean, I don't want it to get there, but at this point, that's the only fight the drivers have, because the companies are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're kicking the drivers when the drivers are down.
I will. I trust what you say is true, Sergio. I always do. I believe it when I see it.
Well, wait until the 31st.
Of course.
It'll be in the news. The city council vote is on the 31st, and the mayor can veto all he wants. Nothing is going to happen. And let's see if Uber and Lyft are going to leave Minneapolis. No, they're not.
Oh no, hell no, they're not going to leave in Minneapolis. But the question is can the governor come in and override them, or this is just
can't override it? Can't do it. It's a city council. It's a city ordinance.
Okay.
Can't do anything about it. It's just for the city of Minneapolis, not the state. Just the city.
Okay.
And just like it happened in Seattle, it started in the city. A year and a half later, it moved to the state. City by city, state by state. This is doable. Now, is it doable on Austin? No, because it's a fucking red state. It's probably going to be doable mostly in blue states, where liberals are in charge. But there are people who are,
Well, Austin is bluer than most places.
I was going to say I didn't want to say anything when Sergio said that, but
Yeah, but I mean, look, it's in general, Texas is tough to pass these things. But if your city is one of those cities that it's kind of left leaning or liberalish and progressive, I mean, start pounding the legislature's office, man. Write them letters, call them. And because nobody wants to do the dirty work. All the drivers want, everybody I talk to, higher rates. I'm not going to fucking do it for you. You got to do some of the fucking legwork. Go to the airports, pass flyers, talk to drivers. Don't talk to them about, by the way, you should cherry pick. Well, what am I supposed to cherry pick if there's no fucking cherries to pick? It just doesn't work.
Like I said, and I'm gonna stand on what I've always said. Until the politicians are willing to act, ain't nobody moving. So it's taken 3-4 years to get Minneapolis on board, right? The last time they told you guys Minneapolis was going to go, and everybody was happy and ready to go. And what happened at the last second? The governor said nope. Right.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping it goes. I'm not doubting that it's not going to go this time. I don't know. You say
it's gonna go. I'm just saying that's where we are at now, right? The companies are doing what they're supposed to do. They have a lot of supply. They don't give a fuck. They're gonna keep lowering. And the companies
gonna keep doing it. 100%.
They're gonna keep doing
it. They're Musa says that Vinny, are drivers really pushing lawmakers? I think you guys underestimate drivers. I really do. Because I think, I do. I think you guys don't realize that drivers talk more than most people think. And that drivers I'm always having conversations with people. Always. And they all say the same thing. And they can talk to their blue in the face to these politicians. They don't get FaceTime, bro. Drivers don't have many people fighting for them. In the gigs, in the YouTube space, Sergio, they got you. Who else besides you do they have fighting for them? Who? None. Nobody else is getting in the meetings with Uber and Lyft. You're it. Politician-wise, I've been looking at California. California's got everything all screwed up so bad that the shit that the Department of Labor is trying to do out of the Biden administration is from California. And y'all got the most out-of-pocket, in-pocket politicians. So, yeah, I'm skeptical. You goddamn right I'm skeptical. Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying. JJ, we are doing the same in South Florida legislation. We have all the proof they needed, and the resolution. Florida has a problem. In 2017, a bill was passed by Governor Rick Scott. Miami-Dade is amending it. Well, you know what? When it happens, it happens, and that's great. But if what JJ is saying, they're going to bring Uber Black to here, you know how many drivers you're going to hurt? You're not helping drivers by bringing Uber Black into Miami-Dade County. I hope you realize that. You're going to put drivers out of work. You're going to put guys like Ramon Figueroa. He's not going to be able to drive Uber Premier or Premier SUV anymore. He's not going to have the licensing. So when you guys go and do all these goddamn deals and think you're doing something, you're only doing it for yourselves in some cases. Because I know in Broward County, there's only X amount of limo licenses or executive car licenses, I should say executive car licenses, that can be issued. And it's in the county charter. It's based on the amount of people, population, and I forget the formula, but there's only so many licenses. So I don't know. Maybe I'm out of
That's not, again, you guys are veering off the point. Again, you guys are stuck on this, in upper end cars. That's not the crowd, man. That's not the population of X drivers and Lyft drivers.
I hate. Well,
I understand everybody. Look, I understand everybody wants to look at that for themselves. I fully understand that, right? And I'm not like that. I'm not looking at the bigger picture. I mean, I'm not saying Vinny, we're gonna punish you because this, or Omar this or that. All I'm saying is, I think for the greater good, at some point, people have to stop going like, "Oh, you did this wrong, you did that wrong." All I'm saying is, look, man, drivers can move votes. Drivers can elect people in certain city councils. And if that's the move, that's the move. And that's the only move. At the moment, we're playing chess. That's the only move we have. We have to play that move. I'm not a fucking huge fan of the government. But at this point, that's the only thing that's going to bring these people to the table. If any of you know who Josh Gold is the head of fucking legislation at Uber. Okay? He's the guy that I have Twitter battles all the time. I finally fucking had a Zoom call with him last week. Finally. Okay? And that's the guy that fucking sat down with the New York AG and passed that $26 minimum guarantee in New York after stealing $400 million from the drivers for whatever, 3 years or 4 years, whatever that was. The guy fucking was like, he goes, "Sir, you're a reasonable guy." I go, "Okay. Well, he goes, "What do you guys want?" I go, "Listen, Josh, all I'm saying to you is that this cannot continue this way, right? And the legislation is coming." And he goes, "Look, I am willing to sit down at any table with any legislator, any driver group, any union. Because this is the only thing we want. Only, one and only. If he's lying to me, he's lying to me. And I'm telling you guys." He goes, "The only thing we want is drivers staying independent contractors. That's all we want. We can sit like we did in Seattle. We can sit like we did in Minneapolis. That's all we want. You guys want higher rates? We'll talk about it. We'll sit and talk about it. But until that's given to us," he goes, "we're going to kill everything. Everything." And the guy's looking at me straight at Zoom. He goes, "We're going to kill everything." And I'm going like, I fucking believe that. So you give him that. And then we ran a poll last week. 85% of drivers, 85%, like massive majority, want to stay independent contractors as opposed to employees.
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely. So give some to get some. To have a seat at the table as drivers or as me, I'm willing to sit at the table. I know my shit. You know your shit. We'll talk. We'll sit. We'll talk. We got to give some shit to get some shit. You can't do this like me, or you can't do this any other way.
Sergio. See, and there's where I think a lot of people have a big disconnect where you want to see everybody rise. Okay? Doesn't mean you kill off 10% because they have a right to exist too. Because at one at one time, all the upper platforms, XL, Premier, Comfort, Black, whatever, we're all regular. We all got our start at X. We all got our start at X.
Yeah.
So you can't sacrifice the few for the many. I'd never believed in that fucking statement. I believe that statement is bullshit. It's either
That's
we
what
own
I'm
that.
saying. That's not what I'm saying. You're continuing as is. You're doing your Uber XL and you're doing your Black or Premier or whatever. Nothing is changing in your world. What I'm
Oh,
saying is that in the majority's world, things are going to change because they need to change.
Whoa. That's not. No, that's an inaccurate statement. To say
Why is
nothing
that?
changed in my world, I've taken. Listen, Premier, Lux Black, Lip Black has taken a bigger hit than fucking X. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But
Are you kidding me?
Vinny, but
Yeah.
you, again, comparatively, you're still making twice as what an X driver is
I got
making out
twice
there
as
or
much
more.
expenses too, but I also have twice the expenses.
I don't know about twice
So
the
it's all
expenses.
relative.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I'm
So it's
just
all
saying.
relative.
I am just kind of puzzled with all this. When a company is going to grind you to death, slowly or fast or whatever, which they've been doing for 10 years, and ultimately, if they want to sit at the table and talk, I don't think there's anything wrong with that picture. I honestly don't, because that's the only way at the moment. There is nothing else. That's the only way. And I'm like, legislation is the only way. There is nothing else drivers can do. You can move cars. You can be a dumb fuck like me. I was this weekend and take all the trips. Do your trips. Go home and count your money. Yeah, you put in a 1,500 miles on your car on that week or whatever it is, like whatever that guy's name was. You said they that 2,000 a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
Listen,
or
hopefully
get
go
better
down.
working conditions.
So then let me ask you this, Sergio, so we can bring this back on topic a little bit, right? Because we are off topic here. We went way off the rails, which is
All right.
fine. We can do that because you know I love you, brother.
No, I love you guys too, but I'm just saying it's
How is
so
it that? How come is it?
frustrating that good, I am like, I really think we have so much momentum. We're so close to getting some shit done, and then I'm like, no, it's not working. I'm like, yeah, it's working. It's not working. I honestly think we're really close. I think we are just
You're
really,
gonna be
really,
mad.
really close of doing some good.
You're going to be mad at me when I say this, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say it because it's just I'm built that way. Until you get rid of the illegal accounts, you're never going to get anywhere.
That's a major topic, actually. I'm discussing tomorrow morning
That
at
should be
8
the only
o'clock.
topic. That should be the
Well,
only
I don't
topic.
know about the only topic, but that's like,
Well,
that's a huge problem.
is it fair to say? Is it fair to say if you get rid of all the illegal accounts,
Yeah.
your supply goes away, your demand goes up, drivers make more money?
No.
Potentially, yeah.
Bullshit.
That's a big account. That's a big problem. That's a huge problem.
If your
Yeah.
supply goes down, your rates go up because you have more surge. Your rates are going to go up.
I agree. I agree.
So that's
And
bullshit. Until they solve
yeah.
that problem, we're going to be right back here next week with having the same
Well,
discussion.
now you know what? I'm not gonna say it because now we're way off topic. I'm not even gonna say it.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Sergio, you know I love you. Everybody, I got comments. I got people in the comments getting on my shit tonight. It's okay.
yeah, you should never watch the comments.
Oh no, because I love everybody, bro. I think everybody's got
No,
a.
not to disrespect, not to disrespect or not pay attention to it, but what you do is you lose your focus. I mean, I'm going like, look, there are people who are happy with what they're doing. There are people who are not happy. People who watch all these channels are all veterans anyway. They're all grizzly veterans. You don't see one newbie coming in here and doing anything. All these people have frustrations. All these people have scar tissue. All these people think they have more power than they think they do. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not even a pebble in the ocean. That doesn't mean accept defeat and go away. Keep fighting with what you have. And at the moment, I think legislation is the only way to fight these companies, or at least
100%.
and bring him to the table. Doesn't mean we're going to agree, but at least let's sit at the table. Let's fucking talk about actual problems. Because when in 2024, when I'm doing a $2.73 Uber X trip in a city like Los Angeles, that does not make any sense whatsoever. That I have to go pick up a human being and drop off a human being for less than a pack of gum. It does not make sense. Okay, and these companies know that. And the only way to stop all this nonsense is legislation. And at least at that table, you can say, asshole, why don't you go pick up somebody for $2.73 and then go to 7-Eleven and buy a pack of gum?
So when we were negotiating collective bargaining agreements, right? He who has the leverage has the power to change policy. That's the number one rule in negotiation is leverage. Without leverage, you can't negotiate.
Yeah, well,
So you have to find your leverage. You have to find your leverage.
I mean, the leverage is find yourselves in your cities, find yourselves supportive council people, and make them understand that they could get voted out, and that there is enough power to do that. In a statewide, no. Nationwide, absolutely no. But statewide, yeah. I mean, the citywide, definitely. And all I'm trying to do is like, if Minneapolis is successful, and if Boston is successful, and if Chicago is successful, these are big cities. These are not chump change cities. Okay, this is not like fucking some shithole in Idaho. All I'm saying is, if that happens, the momentum is just going to keep building, and the fire is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. All I'm saying is, let's give this a chance, because otherwise, we will be here 6 months, a year from now, the rates will be lower, Uber stock will be 90, and that's why we're still gonna be talking about the same thing. This is the time to give a push. Everything we got, this is the time we give a push, and we do grassroots fucking go talk to drivers, go talk to passengers, whoever's willing to listen. Nonstop call your fucking city council people, find some friendly ears, and keep going and keep going and keep going. Otherwise, again, a year from now, I won't be around. I guarantee you guys that, because I'm going to be spent out. I'm just going to go, okay, well, this is not working out. But I'm telling you, there is really good momentum. We got to do this. So,
well, we'll see what happens. I sent something to WeZoom this morning, right, to Kyle. I sent him a quick text this morning, and that was simply this: drivers are playing small ball while these apps are playing long ball. Drivers are playing small ball while these apps are playing long ball. I sent that to Kyle this morning because it's the same thing all the time. They have the leverage. We got to figure out how to get the leverage. Until we have the leverage, it's going to be hard to make change. We need leverage.
I'm really hopeful. So I got 6 months. I hope it will work out. I hope Minneapolis works out. I hope Chicago works out. And then nothing happens that Uber says will happen. The world will not come to an end. Demand will not collapse. It's gonna be all passed to the passenger anyway. And finally, before I go eat my dinner, a lot of like people are uneducatedly making assumptions that look what happened in New York. What happened in New York? Couriers got a huge fucking pay raise. What happened in New York? Nothing happened. And what did Uber and Lyft, what did Uber and DoorDash do? They just passed it on to the consumer, bitching and moaning, but they did it anyway. And that's what these companies are going to do. So don't think like, these companies are doing that. They're not going to do shit. All they're going to do is bitch and moan until fucking shit happens, and then they increase the prices. Okay, let's see now. Let's see a year from now. Let's see if food order demand collapsed in New York like these fucking companies are saying. Okay, it's not going to happen.
I don't think we're going to solve anything here tonight. But I like the open dialogue.
Anyway.
I like the open dialogue. All right, I got a lot of radio background. Where's that coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't read the chat. Whoever's talking shit, whatever. Whoever's not talking shit, whatever. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. They're like fucking whatever. I can't see shit. So
You can
If you
feel
guys
it
want
without
to read
even
some of
reading
that,
it.
it'll be
Hey,
cool.
hey, Sergio, Sergio. Just so
Yeah,
that chat note, just so the chat knows, we're friends, right?
yeah, of course.
Okay, just so everybody knows, I like
Yeah,
Sergio. That's my
yeah,
brother, the mother.
we're friends. We're friends. And all I know is I am just really very, very optimistic now with what I know that this is the way to go. You hate unions, I get it. You hate government, I get it. I get all that.
I don't hate
But
unions. I'm retired, 21-year union.
I'm
Where
just
does
saying, I'm not involving even the unions. All I'm saying is there is an opening here. If these 2, 3 cities can do this, I I honestly think there is a really good chance that drivers will benefit from it. And that's my belief. I may be wrong. We'll find out. Time's flying by. Look,
we're gonna see, bro. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I hope it comes to pass. I hope they get it through. And I agree with you. One city at a time. You know, but Lyft to be
But
out of
don't be
business.
afraid. Don't be afraid when we say, okay, we fucking have a meeting in Minneapolis. Whoever's watching this on the show or whatever later, if you're in Minneapolis, go now. Start pounding the fucking doors. Start fucking make sure you know what you're doing and go help the cause in Minneapolis. Don't just, a lot of people talk a lot. And then when it comes to action, everybody goes to their corners. I'm like, no, this is the time. If something is announced that, okay, we need fucking drivers going to the city council meeting, as actually the thing that's happening that's just so pleasing to me, that the Washington Drivers Union now, because what they had is they have like crazy rates in Washington and the border of Vancouver and Portland, Oregon, I mean, a lot of drivers were coming from Oregon and poaching into fucking Washington State to drive in there, right? And now Washington Drivers Union said, okay, boys, why don't we do the same thing right across the border in Oregon? Well, guess what? They just formed Portland Drivers Union, just like, and not your typical union, okay? And now they had their first meeting. They found 2 city council members who are very friendly to their cause in Oregon. On the second meeting, they had 150 drivers at the city council meeting, and the city councils were like, what the fuck is going on here? And now the movement is spreading across border from Washington State to Oregon. Okay? All I'm saying is we have an opening here, and I know you guys don't follow much of it, but I'm telling you, we have an opening here, and we need to do this. And when we call for help, don't fucking disappear. Just show up and just go to your city councilman, just go write letters, go call the office every day. And yeah, we can do this. We really can. So that's it.
Okay, calm down. We're with you.
I'm telling you, bro.
We're with you. You got everybody thinking we're against you now. What the hell?
No. And it's not against or with. I'm just saying there is an opening here. Trust me, boys. There is an opening here.
Okay.
I've never said that before. After talking to this guy, to the Josh Gold types, there is an opening here. And this opening has to be taken. Otherwise, like I said, a year from now, I will not be with RSG. I will not be doing any of this. I'll be fucking having margaritas somewhere. I'll be like, but I'll still visit you boys on your lives.
Oh,
and
no.
I'll be like, hey, what happened?
Listen. It'll be you and me over in Freeport or in Atlantis, in Nassau, sipping on some Mai Tais, get ready to go play 18. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Sergio, Musa is asking who should he contact in Chicago?
Chicago, you can either contact Lenny Sanchez of IDG, or you can contact Lori Simmons, Chicago Drivers Alliance. They're both good people. Yeah, and or you can contact Alderman Michael Rodriguez's office. I think he's from the 5th Ward. I had them on the show. They're good people. They're working on their own city ordinance. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I'm just like so close. Because after I spoke to Josh Gold, when he said what he said, and I don't give a fuck if he's lying or not. We'll find out when we're sitting at the table if he's fucking lying. And after what they did in Minneapolis or in Minnesota, because the governor vetoed it, and then they said, okay, we're going to form a committee to study the situation. They studied it for 4 fucking months. What did Uber and Lyft do? Nothing. They just fucking killed the clock for 4 months. And the governor says, oh, we couldn't come to an agreement. Okay. If that's the play, that's the play. But now, Mulder kept fucking talking to city council people. They had their local elections in certain fucking areas in Minneapolis. I guess they have a lot of Somali fucking rideshare drivers. And they kept campaigning. Kept campaigning. And then what happened? They elected themselves two more friendly, because last time when the Mayor Frey vetoed it in the city, they couldn't override it because they didn't have 9 out of 12. They just voted themselves to more friendly council people into the city of Minneapolis, and they brought the ordinance right back. And now the guy goes, I'm pretty sure even if the mayor vetoes it, we're going to override it because we got nine city council people who are going to vote for this. I'm like, great. There goes your $1.30, 45 cents. I'm pretty sure that's higher than upfront fares. I'm pretty sure it is. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. In the chat about the DOL, we had a lawyer from the NELP, National Employment Law Project. Nothing is going to happen, Musa. You're not going to put an Uber shirt and a Lyft hat on March 11th. That fucking ruling that they passed has 6 points in it, and the 3 of them. Okay, that ruling, the Biden ruling, is like worse than a fucking aged Swiss cheese. It has so many holes in it. The companies are not worried whatsoever about it. Business as usual. Nobody's going to be employees on the 11th because that law pertains to federal minimum wage, which is a $7.25 a fucking hour. And if you're not making $7.25 an hour, fucking you shouldn't be in the rideshare business. So have a nice day. That's the end of that story.
$7.25. Go fucking throw newspapers out the goddamn bicycle.
Yeah, if you're not making, bro, if you're not making $7.25 as a rideshare driver, I don't know what else to say. I mean, but anyway, so it's nothing is gonna happen, Musa. Nothing is gonna happen. Don't worry about it.
But this is why I didn't bother with the whole thing, because it only affects federal fucking shit anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's federal minimum wage and overtime rules. That ruling has nothing to do with anything else, and that's why the stocks did not go down. That's why the companies go like, I don't think this is gonna matter at all. And I'm like,
difference.
That's why I had the meeting with.
But yet you got dumbass senators like Elizabeth Warren making her stupid.
Fuck that fucking bullshit, fucking idiot. Fuck that. Whatever.
They're all fucking idiots.
Yeah, they're all fucking idiots. Anyway, let's go, Sergio. Let's go. That's why I had to meet. Because I wanted to talk to Josh because every time he fucking posts something, I know who he is, and I go like post like a $2.25 4-mile delivery order, on Twitter, and then. Finally, I was like, can I talk to this fucking guy? And then, finally I met him last week. He seemed like a fucking reasonable man. And he goes like, so I go, explain this to me. I mean, am I going to put my Uber hat on and Lyft shirt on the 11th? And he's laughing. He goes, no, man, nothing is going to happen. I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm like, okay, if you're saying that, then I can say it. I'm not going to worry about any of that shit. So don't worry about it. That's it.
Hey, can I ask a question? I'm just curious since JJ in the comments is like getting on me a little bit. He says I'm complaining.
Huh?
I'm just curious what did I complain about tonight?
Don't worry about it. This is not personal, JJ. Whoever you are. What is it? What's the question?
I don't know what the question was. He says I complain. I was curious what I complained
about. Don't worry about it, man. That's nothing personal here. We're just everybody. It's the internet, bro. It's the internet. Everybody has a voice on the internet. Come on now.
Let's go, God damn it. Anyway, Sergio, Senator, my vote is for Sergio. Musa,
Sergio for president. Sergio for president, because none of the fucking people up there. Anyway, let's not get into that. No. So no politics, no politics. I have so much dirty laundry, bro. There's no fucking way I'd be elected to even the fucking janitorial office of LA. Like, not even fucking chance. But anyway, yeah. So federal is good. Seriously, we'll have a good chance.
I want to try to bring this. I guess I don't even know how to bring it back to what we were supposed to be talking about tonight. We got to. Okay. I hope at some point people just have a better understanding, or they start trying to figure out what they're going to do when they sit there and cherry pick a ride. Before you cherry pick a ride, because I've seen a lot of ride-alongs where guys would just say, "No, I ain't taking that. No, I ain't taking that. Yeah, I'll take that." Yeah. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, well, fuck, that's like the 3 you just turned away. Why are you taking that one? In other words, give yourself an idea. That's all we were trying to bring to the table tonight. Just give yourself an idea of what you think you need to earn or what you want to see you want to earn, and then stick to it. Because if not, you're going to be sitting in that parking lot waiting for 12 hours for the ride that ain't ever going to come. That's the whole point of the show tonight.
Well, cherry picking only works when you don't have any bills to pay. How many of us don't have any bills to pay? We need to make money, man. We need to make money.
Yeah, but Sergio, you were the leader of the Cherry Pickers United.
Yes, I am. I'm not joining the End for Micah United, but I think you know what? I after this week and what's happening in LA, and I know my city well enough, that when there's no cherries to pick, you go out and make your fucking money. Accept. And when the search shows up, then you become a cherry picker. It's like a hybrid version now, as opposed to, because if there's no cherries, you can't pick cherries. And I'm going like, in LA, there's no cherries. I don't know what else to say, and that's reality. So, anyway. All right, I'm going to go pick up this order. And then I bid you good night, all of you. Stay healthy, stay safe.
Appreciate you, boss. Appreciate you.
Give us a chance. Give us a chance. Give us a chance.
Give you a chance. I'll think about it.
All right.
Sir.
All right, buddy. We'll see you later, Sergio. All right, guys. All right. Well, I don't even know who we still got with us. Tony's on a ride. Man, that went a whole different ball game. But it's good. I didn't know about the Minnesota thing. I really did, and I hope it goes. I really do. I hope it goes. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I love my man Musa. We're gonna have a talk, Musa. You and me. We're gonna be We're gonna be in the after chat show here in a minute. If you guys don't have the Discord, if you're not in the Discord, JJ. You can come into the Discord, buddy. We can square off in the Discord. We'll have our after show chat. Let's get it on. Other than that, we are about to get out of here, man. It's 10:59. I want to appreciate anybody got anything they want to bring up tonight? I mean, Eddie looks like he's barely awake.
Well, kind of like, we were just talking about all the bad things that that happened in ride sharing. But the thing, somebody will say, it's like, all we do is complain. I'll say, yeah, but nobody will, if we weren't complaining, nobody will watch us. So if everything was happy doodly do, then, nobody will come watch us because everybody's making money.
No, like I said, the show we'll talk about that when we get up out of here. Okay. Omar, you got anything you want to add to the show tonight, buddy?
I'm trying to put it in a nice way because I feel like saying some stuff that's going to piss a couple of people off here and watching. So maybe I'll just say it in a Discord. Yeah.
All right.
My thoughts are all over the place right now. I don't agree with a lot of what was just said.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it. Oh my God, Musa, you know me, Kyle. I got to keep fighting against Vinny's oppression. Okay. I got your oppression hanging here, buddy. Right below my navel. You can come get this oppression.
Yeah, Vinny's depression hits twice on Wednesdays.
That's it, twice on Wednesday.
Yeah. During the midday and then the Rideshare garage. So I gotta take it easy, whenever I do the midday with Vinny.
Hey, Musa, my man Musa. Listen, if Musa hadn't gotten Brandon back on the Discord, I really don't want to talk to Musa. He only had one job. And if he didn't get it done, then I'm gonna cuss him out in the Discord in a few minutes. Anyway,
You got one job.
you had one job, Musa. You had one job,
You got
bro.
one job.
One job, homie. And you couldn't make right. Exactly. After him. Well, wait a minute. Hey, Musa, whose channel are you watching that you're in the chat unrestricted? Whose channel are you watching the show on? Are you on Steven's channel? You on Omar's channel? Eddie's channel? Thomas's channel?
No, whose channel is this?
Nah, hey JJ, I don't take nothing personal, bro. And I'll tell you why I really don't take anything personal. I respect everybody with what they're trying to do. I respect everybody's hustle. But nobody here is going to be able to affect my money. The only person who can affect my money is me. And I truly believe that. I believe that with all my heart. If I can't figure out a way to get it done, then that's on me. So anyway, all right, tip of the week. Let's go, Omar. Tip of the week. Let's go. Let's go.
It's good to know people. So shout out to Thomas, who's here. I had messaged Thomas on Discord, our little community,
Yes, sir.
about last week the Tampa Bay game, and because I completely forgot about it. My dumb ass would have drove to Tampa, and I would have been really disappointed because Thomas let me know that it really wasn't good over there. So the point of this is that this is what I've been talking about, getting to know people in our little community, where it's paying off dividends because we're getting knowledge from different places. I put out a poll today about how's everybody's month going because it's exactly halfway through the month, and so far the results are it's not good. So you can, and that's from different people across the country. So it's keep communicating, and my tip of the week is keep communicating with people who are around you, but also people who are maybe in the next state or so that we can be a little bit more informed and find ways to help each other out, or at the very least keep each other motivated. Keep Eddie off the bridge, and I'll be right behind him. So yeah, that's my tip of the week is sometimes just having people who are going through the same struggle as you can maybe help lift all of us together.
Okay. All right. Eddie, what you got, Eddie?
I got the same old. Make sure you keep working on your pivot. Even if it's day trading and you don't know what you're doing, you keep losing your money on it. Just keep at it until eventually it starts working out, and then you can move your way slowly out of ride sharing. If ride sharing ain't for you, or you're just getting sick and tired of it, like I am.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna be trading a lot more.
It's just one of those gigs that it's just like repetition. You want to do something new. So,
all right, Thomas, what do you got, buddy?
Man, this been on my mind for probably since the weekend, and I've been saying this more than one occasion. People, be aware of your surroundings. Now we're being targeted, especially in Chicago, and then you got one in Arizona. Then I think one in Texas with you, Eddie. I mean, it's like the bodies are dropping. You need to be aware of where you're going to pick up these people. That's why I always start next to my house, the landing strip from the airport. I can see it on my patio. I start there first. And if I'm starting to get places where it's getting sketchy or things ain't looking right, man, I ain't picking up nobody, no matter what the price is.
Yeah.
That's
why on the midday I'd like to talk about those things because could be driving into in the middle of one of those.
Yeah, definitely be careful. Just keep track of everything. Get your sleep, save your money, and grind.
And always be in company.
Yeah.
All right, that's good advice.
Yes, sir.
Steven, what you got, buddy?
Go to new places. I know everything, as Omar said, people are polling that it's slow in their markets, but trying to kind of branch out to new experiences is gonna probably help you tide over how your market is acting right now. One of the big places that I've been testing is like union stations, places where trains are coming through, or buses are coming through, like Greyhound. If you can learn the schedules of when they're going to be there, people miss their rides all the time, and sometimes that means that you can take a really long trip and make up a part of your day. So it's just something you can try that could make you a good amount of money.
Okay. I'm going to go with what Melvin put up here. Melvin's going to be my tip of the week. Ultimately, you have to hold yourself accountable for your decisions. And that was that was, goddamn, if that wasn't the whole point of the show tonight.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I think is a good hourly or weekly or daily. Doesn't matter what Eddie, Omar, Thomas, Steve, none of us matter. What I need to make ain't the same what Omar needs to make. Ain't the same what Thomas or Eddie or Steven need to make. You got to get your bag, and how you get your bag is on you. Ultimately, you're responsible for yourself, man. That's it. That's why we do gig work independently. We're not a public employee. We're not unionized. We're not none of that. If they change that in the future, cool. I'm all for it. But until that point, I got to get my money, bro. And I'm going to get it. All right. With that, we're going to shut it down. We're heading to the Discord for the after night Rideshare Garage after start. It might get spicy in there, so y'all come on, check it out. Other than that, fellas, I appreciate y'all joining. All those that started the show with us that are out doing rides, we'll see y'all the next time. Peace.
Peace.